Hey, Kenny, you're muted.
Yep, I knew I was going to start just with me being on. Just making sure you were paying attention. All right, so let me go ahead and get going here. And can everybody see my iPhone screen with the Homesnap on here? All right, awesome, it's working. So for anybody that is not familiar with Homesnap, has not used it, when you first go ahead and log in, and that's everything. So you want to register. I'm past the login screen here, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you're registering and able to go ahead and connect your profile regarding all of your credentials with the MLS to Homesnap. And this will get you to the login screen. And it's been so long since I've had to go ahead and refresh or relog in, but I believe it's just your username and your password, and that'll get you into the screen there, and it will sync your information to the actual application itself. So we're going to start. I wanted to start just basically with the news tab here. When you first log in, you'll have kind of an AI-driven news tab that Homesnap will provide on some information based on you or your peers, as far as what you guys have done within the industry, as far as anything that's been sold or listed, and also some Homesnap news. So as I scroll here, you'll see congratulations to Antonio, my guy, actually selling a property in Blythewood not too recently, and you can see details of his actual listing that was sold there, and also other folks that have actually sold. And also, as you continue to scroll, you'll see some other information there that provides information regards anybody that may have something for sale. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find a property here. Yeah, so for example, this is showing Tony Timmerman's listing that was just put on the market for $275, and it was 3 hours ago. I like using this. And as you can see, it has in your preferred zip code of 29016. I have a couple of preferred zip codes that are in my profile, and I think we'll show that in a little bit as well. But this will give you kind of a little idea and kind of a little quick update on some things and some areas that are of interest to you. And the way the market is right now, outside of us making sure that we have, just kind of reports and things directly from the MLS, this is a nice little way, a quick little way to log into Homesnap and to be able to take a look at a couple of different things in your preferred zip code. So for anybody that has somebody looking for a 4 and 2.5 out in Blythewood, at the 275 range, first off, praying for you guys and that in this market. But secondly, at least you can see some information there that may be a little bit helpful. So I just wanted to go ahead and kind of show you guys this as well, because sometimes it's overlooked, but I do think it provides some decent information every now and then for you guys that you can actually take advantage of. Secondly here, we're going to go, where do I want to start next? Let's take a look at the messages tab here. So one thing too about Homesnap, if you're a Homesnap user, a registered user, you can actually go ahead and message each other within the app as an alternative to texting, as an alternative to emailing. I've not used it much, but my history since I have been a Homesnap user is showing here in the actual app itself. So I was making sure that to have this one show up as something safe. So Melissa Alexander, when I had a listing in Ascot, was just inquiring to me that and a client have a little interest in Ascot and wanted me to provide some details to her. So it's a great way to have kind of one-on-one communication regarding your listings, regarding listings that you may be interested in without having to go through the application and what'll happen. If you're on your iPhone or your Android or whatever the case may be, you'll get a pop-up notification letting you know that you have a message waiting, and you can actually reply via the actual text field there. For additional information, you can also go ahead and click details. I can see all the information that I need to see about Melissa directly if I didn't know that. I can also add people to the conversation. So if there's a co-listing or co-buyer's agent that needs to be provided or added, to this conversation, I can do that as well. You can also take a look at any kind of photos, shared homes, and map shared homes if you have those set up with people in this conversation. So again, I wanted to go ahead and show that because this is another way to make sure that we're having some fantastic channels of communication back and forth between each other. And as things have been going on in this market, quick communication is also key. So that may be a little helpful as well. Let's go into the Homes tab because this gets a little granular here. So when you are in the Homes tab, there is a lot that you can actually do. So I'll be honest, training. I was with you. My business is run directly through doing things as far as searches and finding other information through Homesnap myself. The MLS is there. I have my map book. I pull that up all the time as well. But usually I'm very mobile. I'm known to be a very kind of a mobile guy. So between the iPad and the iPhone, I have Homesnap on here. And this is how I'm doing everything as far as finding my information for my particular client set as well. Just making sure I give them the proper information that I need to. So initially what you'll see here, and I'm going to zoom out here, see if there's anything. Let me know. Hopefully this still shows up here. I saw a home that was actually in the contract. But as you kind of zoom out, what is within this box that is on the top part of my phone here, you'll have information on particular homes in the area if it is publicly available. So as you can see, there's a lot of off-market homes, and there's some things there to say like to your list. We'll touch on that in just a second, but anything that is within that box, I should be able to see anything as far as information on the homes that was in that little small search area. So there was an orange dot that was there. That orange dot represented 33 Rose Angel Court that went under contract on March the 17th, excuse me. So I'm gonna click on that. There's a couple of different things here that you'll notice as we use this as an example of an active listing that you can find information on. So anything that is pulled from the MLS regarding photos, if I click on photos, these are currently the listed photos that I am seeing here as well. So very quick way for me to go ahead and check on things, take a look at things very quickly from the app itself, so I can take a look at photos. Also, there's a couple of options there in the bottom. If you notice, it says Commute, Street View, and Map. So if I hit Commute, and let's say I want to go, right now I have my default from our old office address actually. If I click on Commute, I can go ahead and give information or take a look at information based on the type of commute. This would be from a location of interest. So very cool. You can actually plug in, let's say I had a situation where I work with a lot of veterans and a lot of them want to know how quickly can they get to the VA hospital from wherever they're looking for a house, where in town, it doesn't matter, but that is a key point for a lot of my folks. So I'm able to go ahead and plug in the address for wherever and kind of get an idea of a commute. So let's say if you have somebody that says, I don't want to go ahead and be on the road for more than 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour or whatever the case may be, you can actually plot that. And as you can see right there, it says it's 28-minute drive from Excel Real Estate to the address that was listed there, listed here. And you can also add another address if necessary. So this is a very cool kind of underutilized feature. I use it all the time just to kind of give a person an idea, because you have a lot of people, we have a lot of people on here right now that represent a lot of different areas. And I have a lot of people that love, to commute to Northeast Columbia, but they want to live in Lexington. And I say, hey, I love Lexington. I love the area. It's a little bit of a drive, and the construction now kind of adds a little, a few different variables. Are you familiar with that drive? Because a lot of people that are from out of town that don't know that, and vice versa. People that want to visit the lake and they want to live, in Northeast Columbia, conversation may need to switch. So this will be a very helpful thing to use going forward. If you've not used this yet, I think it's something that can make you seem like a superstar. This kind of plotting the commute. So kind of spend a little bit extra time on that more I want to, but like I said, I think it's very underutilized. You also have an option for a street view here. So if I click on this, Google Maps pops up, and now I can go ahead and take a look at a provided street view. So I have a good idea. Anybody that's familiar with the Oleander Mill area, Northeast Columbia, kind of has an idea of how this looks. Wonderful brick homes. I love this area, but this gives you an idea of exactly what it looks like, in the neighborhood. And if you're taking a look at the house specifically, you can see, okay, this is where we are. That's what it looks like with, with the driveway, yard, all that good stuff. So you have street view built into the app as well. Then you also have a map view, of course, where you can click on the map. You can kind of take a look at all of your neighboring homes and different things as well. You can click on the satellite view, pulls up Google Maps. I'll zoom in for a second. And now you can go ahead and instantly see, without having to pull up another map, the Google Map view of this area. So you can go ahead and have, an idea of how close this is to the corner of the street, to the cul-de-sac, how close the street, your neighbors are going to be in this circumstance, all these different things, without even having to be at the property. There's another cool option here as well. I've used this before. Accuracy is TBD. But if you actually click on, let me go back. I'll do that again. there's a little button on the bottom right-hand corner. It says AR Walk. So what is AR Walk? AR Walk kind of gives an idea of what the property lines will look like for this particular property. I say kind of an idea because it's not an exact science. Again, you're talking about AR, you're talking about the system trying to triangulate coordinates and things of that nature. But for the most part, it gives a pretty good idea in circumstances where, let's say if you have, a lot and it's a relatively large lot and a neighbor that has a lot of separation, they kind of just want to know possibly where the property lines are for the circumstances of, just general information, not fencing or anything like that. Of course, not to replace the survey, but just general information. So if I was to click on AR Walk, done this before plenty of times, especially in the rural areas, and if I'm there, it will provide these blue lines. I don't know, I don't think it'll work. Yeah, it's going to pull on my camera, so I'm not going to do this here. But once you're there, it'll open up your camera. It'll ask for permission for your camera. And then you'll start to see these blue lines on your phone that represent what it sees as the property lines. I think that's really cool. Like I said, I think it just kind of gives a general idea of what the property lines looks like, but also will maybe answer a few questions for your clients, even for yourself, based on, some particulars of the lot and of the, the land itself. So definitely use that. Again, it just makes you look like another superstar. And, something that I think, again, is another underutilized tool as well. I don't, call it a Bible function, where it's the end all be all, but just for something at that moment, if you're there, if your client, and you want to pull that up, kind of get some general information on how that actually looks, you can definitely do that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and go out of here. Let's take a look at a couple of different functions here as well. You also have the commute that I showed you, the street view, the map, they're all on the top right there as well. And what the app will do is cycle through those photos as you're taking a look at the general information. So as you're taking a look there, you're seeking the information on the price, estimated mortgage, which if you click I is going to be based on this mortgage calculator that is built into Homesnap, where you can put in the home price, anything as far as a down payment, your loan type, interest rate, what your estimated insurance, things that there, and there's also an affordability tab. So I like this. I don't use it a lot. I've started to use it a little bit more lately, but the affordability tab is a tab where you can plug in some numbers there, including things that, basically discuss the debt to income ratio. You can plug in information that you can get from your clients about the household income, any monthly debts, the loan and things of that nature. And it'll plug in basically an idea of, whether or not this home is affordable or not. And you can slide this. So I like this because if I'm, the more I'm going down, take a look and you see these numbers change. So with these numbers at a $60,000 household income, for example, right? What the AI is doing is saying, hey, at this point, your house is affordable. You keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. And then eventually at 267,950, basically 268, it says you're going to be stretching. I like that. It's a conversation that all of us have all had with clients to say, hey, do you really want to, purchase this house? Is it something that you can afford? Is it something that you can live in? Will you be living within your means? And this is a nice small little calculator to assist you with your lender, with your loan officer that you're working with, your financial institution of choice, to kind of make that argument a little bit more concrete, right? So I like this tool as well. Like I said, again, very transparently, is one that I'm going to start using in a situational basis, but it is there. It is a part of what you have access to within the app, just to kind of keep that conversation going and to also, just provide the best information that you can to your client. So I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that as well. There are some other pieces of information here, and we'll try to make sure that we cover as much as we can. So I'll speed up a little bit, but you have your basic info there. So you have your bedrooms, baths, your acres, and also your square footage. I will still say make sure that you are verifying this information. This information is not going to always be accurate, but for the most part, it's pretty good. But just like in any kind of transaction, make sure that you're verifying this information. But for the most part, this is going to go ahead and give you pretty decent information that you can go ahead and provide and work with your clients regarding the basics there. You also have a couple of Pro Plus features there with selling speed. If I click on that, it'll start to go ahead and basically provide some information on what this home can sell for. So based on some AI, it'll basically go ahead and provide predicted weeks in the market, if it's actually sold at a certain price point. And if I slide up or down here, you'll notice that these numbers change. So if I go higher, let's say somebody really wanted to say, hey, I want 300,000 for my house. You can see the days on the weeks on market decreases, and it increases as you go to 2 to 3 weeks and 4 to 8 weeks. Another great tool that you can use where you can just plug in a number there. Somebody saying, hey, you know what? I wonder, what my house will sell for. This is a quick conversation. Sell speed is a pro feature, and I believe we're going to talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. But it is a pro feature that you can actually use to kind of have additional conversations. You can also run rapid CMAs. Done this quite a few times. You plug in your information there, and it's going to go ahead and basically ask you to verify some details. Once I click on next step, what it does is plug in different homes around the area that the AI considers to be similar home, type. So you'll have to sometimes click on some of these homes to verify some information. So for example, the home that is the subject home here is built 2007. This one is showing 2008 with 34 acres. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. Let's see the map view real quick. As you can see, kind of confirming information that may or may not be accurate. That does not look like a 34-acre lot to me. I mean, I could be wrong. My eyes could be going bad on me and my age, but this is just me verifying again and just validating again that you want to make sure that this information is accurate. Because again, like I said, it's showing 34.15. I'm pretty sure that's not true, but this is where you can go through and just kind of confirm information before you provide the subject detailed properties for your CMA. But just for the heck of it, I'm going to click 3 here. I'm going to click next. The next step you'll hit is seeing sold homes that have been in the area. Of course, you just want to kind of check the dates here because some of them may be a little out past, 6-7 months. But these are sold homes. So I'm going to just click here. Again, making sure that you're verifying the information that you want to put on the CMA to make sure it's a comparable property, comparable home. Once I click next step, it'll ask me to go ahead and provide an email address. Go ahead and for those scenarios, look at something. This is what I use it for personally. Let me back up for a second. I don't use the rapid CMA portion versus some of my more traditional methods of running CMA numbers from the MLS, for some other resources that we have available. But like I said, I'm a more mobile user. So in that mobile circumstance, if I'm with somebody, I'm showing them homes, or I'm with another agent and we're tagging along, we're training, we're learning, I am running this just to provide some information to them so that way they can have some quick access to some details. So I'm either sending this to myself or I'm sending this directly to them. And this can be before, during, or after any of our showings. And it just provides some good basic info for them to go ahead and have some information at their hands, at their disposal to make some decisions and for you guys to have some conversations. You hit create at the top right there, you get that report, and then that report actually gets to you so that way you can go ahead and use it accordingly. There's also net sheet calculator, which I think is pretty cool as well. So again, plugging in your numbers as well, you can plug in your information there to provide kind of a very quick net sheet to your client as well. So you have your different fields there that you can do. And then once you click share, you can share that information as well. As you can see, you can get detail with transfer taxes, recording fees, et cetera, et cetera. All right. A couple of different things that I wanted to show you guys here would be regarding the property history. So this house, just like every house it seems in the market lately, it was on the market, and it was on the market for about 3 days before it got under contract. So again, about average, or a little bit longer it seems sometimes for average, just the way this market's been. But congratulations to Steve for getting this under contract. So what you'll see is some information here as far as the history of the home, as far as the MLS and its feed has it in its system. So what you can see is back in 2007, it sold for $212. It went on the market for $274.9, and as it stands right now, it's under contract, and that price will be to be determined. But you can actually see a detailed listing of information based on this alone. It gets really granular. You can always kind of see some very interesting history aspects to some of these properties, where properties started. They have kind of a as well. But also, if I wanted to go ahead and get information, say this wasn't under contract, this was a live listing, and I want some information on Steve to see how I could contact him, I can click on his name, and anything that pulls up with his information as far as how he can be reached will be there in the actual tab here. So his telephone number, his email address, his firm are all listed here as well. I can also see any of his deal flow. So, I can actually see, hey, I may want to have some expertise from him if I've seen that he's done a lot of properties in a certain area. I may want to have a conversation with him to get some insight. So I love this field as well, because you can get an idea of where the deals have been for him or anybody that you're looking for, and also pretty detailed information regarding the listings and the buyer sides of anybody's transactions, right? So this information is key. It makes it really easy for me to reach out to a lot of people. You can also message directly, again, like I said, through this app, and you can message Steve directly there. Or if you want the text, you have a text icon and a call icon, you can do that as well. You can also favorite him as well. If you click more, you can share the profile if necessary to somebody, and you can go ahead and view any favorites that you have. All right, some other pertinent information there. As far as being pro features, again, Steve's information is there. But you can also take a look at any related people. If necessary, you can see who is involved with this actual property regarding anybody as far as the name, anything as far as survivorships. Now, because of the fact that I believe with this recording, I'm not going to go deep into clicking any of these people's names or information, but it does pull public record. But I do want you to have an idea to understand that if you were to click on one of the blue tabs there with the owners, you can get granular with contact information. So that way you can take a look to see if there's necessary contacts that need to happen. All of your listing information from MLS, once it's listed, is going to be there. All of your property information is going to be there, as far as the style, the year, the subdivision, the MLS number, etc. Any of the confidential notes and agent notes that you have will also be there as well. The reason I'm flying through this, because this is stuff that you also see in the MLS, but I just want to show you that it mirrors what's on the MLS from this side. So anything regarding, the available financing recommendations that have been listed by the listing agent is going to be there. The Comp SB, anything as far as information on the status, the TMS number will all be there as well, right? Showing, also information as far as the available showing opportunities, whether it be appointment, showing time, lot box, preference. Steve says, he has a preference of you texting him, so that's put on there as well. Any can you guys hear me?
You froze for a brief moment, but I can hear you now.
Yep, sorry, my internet keeps coming up with an unstable message. My apologies. Wanted to make sure I was good. So again, there is some information here. I want to see if I can find an example for you guys. Desiree, I don't know if you have one, but I want to see if there's a live listing. I would like for them to see where they can pull the disclosures there directly.
Hold on.
I got one
up for you.
I got one. I think it'll pull up here. Yep.
And while you're pulling up, Kenny, there was a comment in the chat. Yes, the issues with confidential documents is not Homesnap driven. That is actually driven by the MLS. So if you're not aware, when you're uploading your documents into your listing, before you save it, there's a button below that says make private. If that, it says make public in the MLS. If you do not check that box when you're saving your confidential documents, once it's saved in the listing, it will not show up in Homesnap because you've prohibited access to the public, because we can share and provide access to our clients directly to Homesnap as a customer service. And so if the associated documents are not made public, when we sign up our clients for the customer view to Homesnap, they won't see them. So that's the inconsistent issue with the confidential docs. It's not that they're not there. It's that when the agent is adding them to their listing, they're not making those documents individually available to the public. So that's why you have to go back to the MLS and see them, and you won't see them in Homesnap.
Awesome. Yeah, and I was going to mention that too. That's something that I recently learned as well, because I have had a few instances, and thank you, Desiree, for updating me in that yesterday. I've with listings, I've worked with so many buyers, and like I said, I'm so mobile. I am very dependent on finding all the documents that I need on a quick basis directly through Homesnap if necessary, without having to pull up the iPad, well, excuse me, the laptop and things like that, and trying to find those documents. This is how I find it. So again, I did find a live listing here. So 208 Faircrest Way. I always like giving people shout outs. So Thomas Shoop, I hope I said your name right. Well, he's with Open Door. He is listing this property here, 208 Faircrest Way, with all the confidential information, all the information that you would have in the MLS. But again, staying under disclosure conversation, this is where you can find those disclosures here. One thing I like to go ahead and show as well, I'm going to pull up or click on this listing packet. So there's a little box with an arrow pointing up that's underneath the paper that says listing packet. If I click on that, it should bring up my share button. Here we go. And there are a couple of different options here that you can do as far as sharing these documents directly. So as you guys see, I have a couple of different apps I have installed. But if I click on one for me that I like using, and a lot of us use, where is it at? I may have to download it. That's what it is. So let's see here. So I'll show you guys a trick. So if I click on this and click the listing packet, I click on the share button again. You have your options here. And there we go. I'm a .loop user. So anybody that uses any kind of transaction document software, whether it's .loop, SkySlope, whatever it is, DocuSign, you can definitely save your actual documents directly through your phone there. So for me and any other .loop user, you can go through, click .loop, and you can actually go ahead and save it to specific loops that you have set up in your profile. I like doing that. Makes it easier for me to go ahead and get the flow going as I get offers going myself. But just wanted to go ahead and share that with you guys. So again, that is the documents tab right there. And also this didn't show up, this little bottom bar where it has 208 Faircrest Way and Columbia, South Carolina 29229. This did not show up the last time because that other home was under contract. But again, it has a share button here as well. So again, if I wanted to go ahead and share this to my client in a fashion, to email it, or whatever the case may be, I have different share buttons I can use for that as well. And it will share the link on that property based on the information that is provided. Anybody have questions or anything like that on the for sale tab? And Desiree, I'm going to go into all homes in a minute and those different options. But I want to kind of make sure everybody was good on that front.
We did have a couple of questions that popped up since we're going to do that. We had a couple of people who had questions about when you were on the for sale tab, finding the calculator and the mortgage options again. If you could go back to that real quick.
Sure, absolutely. For them. All right, so I'll go back and use Faircrest Way as an example. So let's see here. I clicked on photos. It just disappeared from me now, and I'm wondering if it's actually, I'll show you guys another way. Where's our calculator on here? I'll tell you what, let's go back. We'll make it easy. Let's go back to Ridge Trail. We'll do that, and let's use this. All right, I'm trying to find that calculator again. It was showing on the one under contract, but not here.
We also had a question from someone, and I'm trying to remember who it was,
sure,
regarding getting to, you went to the mortgage calculator, which is right there on the net sheet calculator.
Yep. So this is a net sheet calculator. Now, for whatever reason, it's showing up under a under contracted property. But under contracted property, it did show the net sheet calculator, which is here. So this is showing up underneath the contracted property. I just kind of went to 5 West Pineland Court in Northeast Columbia. And shout out to Bev. And when it came to that mortgage calculator, All of a sudden they're disappearing on me, Desiree. I don't know what's going on. It was right there. But we can definitely follow back up on that. I don't want to go ahead and lose the flow with this, but we'll definitely go ahead and there's a la carte way of actually getting to the net sheet and the mortgage calculators without having to go through the properties. So I want to make sure that you guys see that as well. So there are some things there I'll show you on that. Apologies on why it didn't show up on the properties we just showed, but
I've got your shortcut if you want it.
okay.
For those who are looking for the mortgage calculator or the affordability calculator, if you go down to the bottom of your screen and click on the me, where your silhouette is for your face, when you click on me, the more tab, scroll up, Kenny, a little bit on yours.
There you go.
Click
Yeah,
on
there we go.
more.
Yep.
You'll see not only can you change your profile settings so you can affect the way that your app displays to you and your client, but then you also have the mortgage calculator, the affordability calculator, and the net sheet calculator outside of any particular property that you're viewing. That way, if you're manipulating and running numbers for your clients on the go for several properties, or they're trying to shift numbers from left to right, trying to figure out what to offer, you can do it from right there.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to find. I appreciate that. Awesome. All right. So kind of moving along and staying within the Homes tab, I want to show you guys a couple of different things that are available if you were to kind of dive a little bit deeper. And before we show this, there's been a lot of, people kind of inquiring. I know I do this a lot, with the folks at Excel. And we talk about just creative ways to go ahead and kind of keep your pipeline going and keep your database going and finding creative ways to market, farm, whatever the case may be. So what I'm about to show you kind of goes into that kind of space of thinking. So if I click on all homes, you'll kind of see that I have some changes here that showed up on my map. And I'm going to change a couple of different filters here. And it should now show just red and orange. Yes. So if you click on all homes, what you're seeing right now, based on Homesnap's algorithm, Homesnap's AI, some other market data, is opportunities for you to go through your app, take a look, and maybe just do some farming in your neighborhood or a neighborhood of interest to see if you would like to have conversations and discussions with people about listing their home. So as an example, orange means that I click on this, 111 Branch Street Drive, have at it, people. This is going to go ahead and provide you guys some information on this home based on public data and public feeds. What Homesnap is essentially saying here is saying, hey, this person or this family at this home, based on market statistics and market conditions and other things with the AI, may be more likely to list their home in the future and may be a potential client of interest to contact. So as I scroll up, and why and how it kind of does that feed, I want to show you guys, is based on this algorithm and based on these formulas here. It's showing a high AI score with a 52.5% estimated net equity based on their situation. They've lived there for 10 years, the recent listings, and is owner occupied, and the mortgage is in good standing. So once you click on this, it shows some information here as far as the last agents that sold the property and also current ownership. So again, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up, because again, as I pulled it up a second ago, there was some contact information that you had there that you can, basically use to, it's just essentially introduce yourself and maybe have a conversation with somebody about the market and about, essentially listing and, working with them on the property of their home. Kind of going back again to the map, this is what Homesnap to me brings as far as an amazing benefit. That I don't think that a lot of other apps and services can honestly provide, if I can be very, very honest with you. I think it is an amazing underutilized tool. We see it, we don't kind of know what it means, but hopefully that provides some clarity to you guys that are looking for, just some opportunities in your business, or to provide some opportunities for your agents, if you're a broker or a team leader, right? So I want to go ahead and show that to you guys. If I also filter though, there are some different options here as well. And I'll discuss the Pro Plus features in just a minute, but if I take a look, I can go and sort by the MLS status to make sure that only active listings are showing up. Anybody that has an interest in distressed properties, you have some, you can working with or seeing information on cash buyers only, interested on seeing people's loan balances, mortgages and mortgage rates, right? You can get very granular if you want to go ahead and take an opportunity to get into that mode of old school farming, old school calling. I'm an old sales guy, so I really appreciate this opportunity for them to provide this information. But again, this is something that you can actually filter out and apply to get the results necessary. If this is not client, based as far as you assisting or working with a client. This is more in the mode of business building. So I just wanted to show you guys that. But this is an awesome opportunity for you just to find some more information, get an idea of a neighborhood, get an idea of an area. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that are going to probably drop pins and take a look at their own neighborhood now to see what's out there as far as opportunities. But there's some awesome opportunity there to get some info there to go ahead and kind of start that as well. A couple of different things I wanted to show you guys as well. So if I go ahead and click draw, I'm gonna zoom out here for a second. Hopefully it lets me do this. But if I want the draw and just have an interest in just one specific area. So I see Foxtrot Drive in the area over there and the summit. So let's say if I want the draw and get information specifically on this area, I can do that. Somebody has an interest in this area near Legion Lake, I can draw fields of searches on the app as well. That makes it really, really cool. So if there's let's see here. So I'm going to go out here and let's say I'm going to clear that and just focus on Lake Carolina, right? See what's out there in Lake Carolina. Now I've done that based on my criteria with the fields I've built. I can also go back to for sale. Now, if somebody says, I just have an interest generally in Lake Carolina, I'm not from the area, I've just heard about it, got military friends, family all over the place, they tell me about this area, they love it. This is where I want it. I know this is where I want to live, Kenny. I just need you to tell me what's out there and kind of give me an idea of really, what I have as far as my options. And I just did a circle search right there and it pulls up all this information. Now I can go ahead and get very granular, zoom in. And there's some nice, I'm sure, beautiful homes that are around the area that are probably going to last maybe another day or so on this app that I can go ahead and now have conversations with people about. And if necessary, I can go ahead and actually run into a list view. Forgot to mention that earlier. And I can take a look pretty much in detail, right? A lot of this is land. Some of these are single family. Some of these are not on the market. But again, these are all based on my preferences here. And I can go ahead now and take a look essentially and see what's in Lake Carolina very quickly to provide service to my client and give them some insight, right? All right. We're running short on time, so I want to make sure I can go ahead and get over all of this stuff very quickly. So a couple of different things. I'm now in the agents tab. So myself, I am a Pro Plus user myself personally. So there are going to be some things that you'll have as far as your standard access with Homesnap, but there are some Pro Plus only features as well that, we'll kind of just combine and go over a couple of different options as far as what you have just within the app itself from a pro standpoint. I'll try to keep it like that. But Homesnap does a very good job after you're done with a listing or a sale of working with you on actually, good, it's muted, working with you on actually working and doing some things as far as previewing. Make sure this is still showing. There we go. Previewing applications, no, ads, excuse me, for wins that you've had, whether they be on the buyer or the seller side, excuse me. So they have some amazing options here if you want to go ahead and kind of get the boost out about recent things that you've done. This is my listing for Mascot from a couple of months ago. And you can go ahead and essentially get this going as far as advertisements on Facebook, Instagram, Waze. I think when we were talking recently about kind of preparing for this, we feel that Facebook, it provides an amazing opportunity to go ahead and advertise from Homesnap if you feel fit. Obviously, I think a lot of people in general have a lot more reach when it comes to Facebook, and Homesnap will work with you on that, on the budget and on a way to push out, your recent sales, your recent buyer transactions through Homesnap or through Facebook or your other social media mediums to kind of get more traffic going. If anybody, one thing I kind of mentioned with myself as well, if anybody has used Waze and you stopped at a stoplight and you've seen those very quick ads that kind of pop up about, whatever businesses around you, I've seen that before. So this will show up if you're in the geo-fenced area near the home and you're using Waze to navigate. This will show up and kind of provide a nice little ad right there for somebody to tap to go ahead and take a look. And of course, if you have a current listing, as you can see, it says sold now, but if it was actually, for sale, anybody that may be interested of maybe taking a detour could use Waze and it'll pop up there in that preview there. Let's see here. So there are other opportunities here as well. I want to go ahead and show one specifically that was brought up yesterday. So there are Google reviews that you can go ahead and essentially throw in there, and you can ask for very quick reviews. Me personally, very transparently, I have 0 reviews because I've not used this yet. I've used some other mediums, but I'm going to go ahead and start using this a lot more. But if you want a very quick way to go ahead and have a review set on Google, you can see you can enter a name if the actual contact's already there, an email, or even a phone number. And love phone numbers because it'll send a text to them, asking them to do a very quick Google review, and then it'll pop up, populate on Google, and then that'll start to get your review numbers up, right? You can manage your clients and your contacts. You can go ahead and find an agent, which I think this is really cool as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on. So for anybody that I've had to click on information recently, this pulls up with all the recently contacted agents that I've used through Homesnap, and just and it keeps it here. And that way you have that contact information for a very quick kind of follow-up if you need it necessarily. So you can do that. You can also search for an agent here. So if I go ahead and type in, I think it'll start auto-populating, right? Let me see here. Just put in some basic criteria. No, it didn't. All right, I know somebody that I can put in there. Hope the boss doesn't mind me using her as an example. So boom, it pulls up Candace's information right there. I click on her profile, and all of the information I need for her is right there, including her contact information, email address, and of course the firm information. If you click on your profile, I'm gonna go back. I'm going to the Me tab. So as Ezra was talking about before, once you go into more, you can change your image, you can change your wallpaper, kind of spruce it up to the way that you like. But there's a lot of information that you can do, or things that you can do on this profile tab here that is really, really cool, because this is also a shareable tab that you share client tab, where you can invite people to your tab there. You can keep a list of your clients as well. You guys have already seen the more options. You can introduce yourself with a story. Video is very, very big right now. So this is something that I've pledged myself this year. I'm going to continue on. So I can add a video story to this profile that I introduce myself with whatever video I decide to attach to this. And it will go ahead and stay on this static profile for people to view. It'll have a nice little list here of all the listings that I either have or sold or currently have. I'm going to click on a couple of the shortcuts here because you'll see my public profile. So the profile of what your clients will see will be showing up here. This is where you want to make sure that this is cleaned up, because everything that is showing up publicly is showing up here. So to show all the information that you have on here as well, including anything as for any updates of your bio, they can ask you a question directly through the app as well. Homesnap is really neat as well. Like I said, because of me being a Pro Plus subscriber, it provides some very nice little things here that I don't have to do as far as providing real estate tips, little things out here, readable articles that a client can read. Makes sure it looks like you put this all together, you're on your own. Make sure it makes it look like, you were the one to go ahead and format this and put this on here. And I just kind of clicked on that. So I'm going to click on real estate myths, pulls up an article. And this looks like you actually went and created that article. It provides a nice little readable site, readable little link for these folks to look at. I love that. That is included with the Pro Plus feature. And of course, any photos that you have. Now, agent only profile, if you click on that, this is what you guys will see if you click on my profile. So all of my pertinent information, contact information, business hours, which is what is synced from Google. So you can actually, I believe, update this as well. But Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, kind of are my business hours. Add another 6 hours before and after that, then it'll be more realistic. And then, of course, you guys can also, if you want to, see my deal flow as well. So you guys have access to my deal flow and seeing what I've done. Again, like I said, I love this information because sometimes it'll give you an idea of where a person may have as far as interest or kind of expertise in an area. And also you can see anything as far as my buyer and seller sides as well, right? Now, this is the cool part that I like as well. Outside of anybody that has not hidden their profile, I can see who's viewed my profile directly through the Homesnap app. So thank you to Debbie, Shonda, Christine. Hey, Christine, Rodney, Yolanda, all you guys for taking a look and just seeing and using my, my profile as an example to kind of take a look at it. Make sure you share my information, well, save my information as well if you guys don't have it. And you have any questions after this Homesnap training, I love to talk with you and, see what I can do to help you guys out. But again, this is who you can go ahead and see has seen your profile over the past, I believe it's been 90 days, right? Now you do have the option to go ahead and go into private mode. And that is an option to where you don't have to go ahead and have your information displayed. You can take a look at somebody's information, very similar to like LinkedIn, where you can go into private mode and take a look at somebody's bio as well. Same thing. So you can go ahead and hide your information and take a look at it and kind of be discreet about the information that you may need while looking up that person's profile. Let's see here. Anything else of pertinent information? You also have your saved searches, which I had a search that was done. This is in the Charlotte area, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute too, that I actually did for a client. So anything that is a saved search that you've done through Homesnap, you can save this information. It'll always be available for you to come back as well. Information confirming your office and also the agents in your office. Shout out to Excel Real Estate. And also, again, if you are of multiple MLS memberships, you can manage your MLS identity. So for me personally, I am a member of the Canopy Access, MLS Access, in the upper South Carolina, Charlotte area. So you can manage that information as well and have access to multiple MLSs if necessary. And they will feed into Homesnap at the same time based on what the MLSs are providing as far as the information. Not every MLS feeds the same data. I will say that very, very honestly. So you want to make sure that you have an understanding of what information you can or cannot get from your MLS membership, even if they are a Homesnap provider. So again, that is on the Me tab. Homesnap Pro, yes.
If I could, there are a couple of other things since we're running out of time.
Yes.
That we would love to show folks to let them see the benefit of how it integrates with your MLS. I'm pretty sure you have it on yours, but if you go to your home screen,
yes,
if you are creating collaboration center searches for your clients, when you get ready to put an address right there at the top of the home screen, if you hit it, if you've done a collaboration, Kenny, it'll show up on yours. Where it says import saved searches or listing carts, it's in looking for the listing carts and the saved searches that you've actually created for your client in Homesnap. And because you've got 2 MLSs, it's going to give you the option to do yours. So right here, these are the searches that he's done that he sent to different clients for properties that meet their criteria. So if you have a client that picks up the phone and says, hey, Desiree, that house you just sent me just came back on the market, you can literally come into here, into the save search, find the search for that client, and it will only display in your home listing the searches that match the criteria for that client. But also under your Me tab, you have the ability, under your Agent tab, you can share this program with your clients. And so you can invite your clients. Well, once you click on My Clients, if you go to, I think, Me,
okay,
and My Clients, when you find your clients in this list, if there are properties that they have been coming into Homesnap and favoriting, and you want to see what properties they've been searching in the background, even though they may not have talked to you, you can select any client that shows up in that client list and then you'll be able to view the properties that they are liking and favoriting in Homesnap, even when they're shopping without you. So that's another way to make it very integral and show your worth to your clients, because you're basically giving them customer MLS access, and you can still see what they're liking and what they're looking at. So if they've told you, oh, we only want to spend 200, and you see a lot of favorites at 300, that just might give you some insight to say, hey, is your price point changing? Because I see you liking some houses that are a little bit higher than what you told me. So it allows you to have more information and create that deeper connection with your clients, because you're able to see more of what they're seeing and what they're doing. We did have a couple of questions for you, Kenny.
Yes.
Let me find the question that we had. I think it was Shannon that had a question. She wanted to know, if we're using Homesnap for prospecting, can we pull lists, and what are the pro options in the filters? I'll answer part of that, Shannon. If you'll go to your home screen, Kenny, and just pull up any property.
Yep.
In your searches down here in the bottom left-hand corner where you see likelihood to list right now, when you select that, that's where all of your other heat maps are. So when you start turning and toggling off and on some of these other buttons down here that are currently grayed out, you're going to see some more options. All of those that are indicated by Pro Plus will be only available for the Pro Plus users. So if you're wanting to highlight distressed properties in a particular neighborhood, you'll have to be a Pro Plus user to be able to turn that on and be able to turn those property lines, the different shades of pink, to let you know where those properties are, and who to reach out to show yourself invaluable, to possibly see if there's a way for you to assist them in that manner. We also had a couple of people, Kenny, who would love for you to show how you did your hand-drawn map.
Gotcha. No problem. All right. So I will go back here. I'm going to zoom out again. And again, I'm in the defaulted all homes tab here. Actually, I'm going to click the for sale tab right here, just to kind of give you guys an idea. So I am zooming out. My general uses of it is kind of finding a broad area. So again, so if I am going to zoom out here, and there's a button here that says draw, I click on that. I'm literally, you guys can't see it, but I'm just using my finger. Boom. Now anything within that particular area, based on the criteria I have set, and I'll show you guys my filters because I don't really have a lot of restrictions on right now, but essentially anything that's showing up for sale in this area geographically is what is going to show up basically in the circle that I have drawn, and the data will be pulled based on any filter. So you can get granular. So you can go ahead and say, hey, I'm looking for, a specific price, bedrooms, bathrooms, property type, a listing type, a status. So for example, I'm gonna turn coming soon off. That is not relatable to us. But if I apply that, anything with HOAs, year built, things of that nature, I can get very granular. Results may or may not increase from that. But essentially, that is me just using the drawing tool. Love it for like I said, I'm a resident of the Northeast. So for me, places like Long Creek, Wood Creek, Lake Carolina, the Summit, this is what I'm usually using in those areas where there are, multiple subdivisions within subdivisions. And this is why I primarily use it for, because you have some folks that are very particular. I'm using the drawing tools for that, sometimes for broader areas as well. But I encourage you guys to use it, kind of play around with it.
We are almost out of time. We've got 3 minutes, and I know we said we were going to give a few more, but you guys have been hitting us up in the chat and the question and answer section steadily with questions. Were there any questions that you had that we have not addressed during our presentation today? Anyone?
And I also will just advise too, if there's anybody that needs assistance after this, I don't know how they can get my information or how we'll provide that. But of course, just like with the RPR training, I would love to just kind of get with anybody that needs help, as a family, right? And just making sure that you guys are familiar and, very comfortable with the tool that a lot of us have been using for a while. And, we have as part of our toolbox. But definitely, we'll be happy to help out anybody after the fact if you don't have any questions right now.
What we'll do before we sign off real quick is we'll drop our names and numbers and emails in the chat real quick. So you have our information. So if you've got any additional questions, you can reach out to us and we'll answer them as best as we can for you on a one-on-one basis. Don't all hit us up today. Give us a chance. But we'll get to you just like we did with RPR and get your questions answered. And we are so thankful and appreciative that everybody showed up. We hope you learned a lot and that it was helpful and beneficial to you.
And one thing, Norman, I just saw your message real quick while we have a minute. We did not go over the Farm My Zips option there, but I will show it to you real quick. If you go into agents, you click on Farm My Zips, and then you have a couple of options there to go ahead and do marketing based on options that you would like to select, whether they be video, whether they be a listings lightbox, parade, pure candy for whatever that means. Looks like photo marketing, but that will actually be available within the Pro tab, the Agents tab, excuse me. So that is an option there that you can have access to. So I wanted to make sure, because I saw your question, that was something that you can actually use as well.
Well, thank you guys so much. Our panelists were absolutely amazing today. So thank you for teaching this course. And as you are putting your contact information in the chat, I can also send out an email that has our panelists' email addresses on there if you'd like to reach them that way. Just a reminder, this webinar was recorded, so it will be being uploaded on Facebook and CCRA's YouTube page later today. So you can be on the lookout for that. But with that being said, it is a little bit after 2, so we can go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all again for being here. Thank you to our amazing panelists. And this was so informative. I hope you all learned a lot and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys for being here.